faith of our fathers, Oba Sir Isaac Babalola Akinyele was born on 18th April 1882 in Ibadan. His great-grandfather was Bolude Akinyele, a pagan Ibadan warrior and herbalist. He had Josiah Akinyele as his first son, who was one of the early converts of Reverend David Indara of the Church Mission Society (CMS), who brought Christianity to Ibadan in 1851. Josiah Akinyele took Abigail Lakpena, the daughter of Kukomi, another powerful Ibadan pagan warrior, who also was converted to Christianity through Reverend Indara. In 1875, she gave birth to her first son, Alexander Babatunde Akinyele, the first Anglican diocesan bishop of Ibadan. And later in 18th April 1882, she gave birth to the second son, Isaac Babalola Akinyele. In the Holy Bible, several prophets are sent by God. Few of these prophets were recorded to be kings in their kingdoms. Oba Isaac Babalola Akinyele followed the footsteps of great prophets in the Bible who became king during their lifetime. As a devoted Christian, Isaac Akinyele became an active member of the Christ Apostolic Church and served for a long time as the church's first president. He also became a chief and rose steadily in the traditional hierarchy over which an Oba, the Olubadan, has ruled since 1936. He became Otun Balogun and then in late 1953 Balogun. Problems were expected because the title has close associations with the traditional Yoruba religion, which made it difficult for a devout Christian to hold such title. He was more on the pulpit than the throne, and during his reign, he prayed a lot with the support of the late Apostle Babalola, first general evangelist of Christ Apostolic Church. As part of his contributions in liberating Ibadan, Oba Akinyele was appointed as commander of the most excellent order of the British Empire and was described as the bishop who lived a life of purity and uprightness by Queen Elizabeth II when she visited Nigeria and worshipped at St. James Cathedral, Okebola, Ibadan. It is on record that Oba Akinyele was the first king who stopped using his cap. In those days, no one dared to confront Satan or his institutions in the kingdom of Ibadan. Human sacrifice and other occult practices were very predominant, but Babalola Akinyele, a Christian king, ordered the abolition of many occultic practices. He stood his ground despite the opposition from almost the whole of Ibadan land, as he stood for Jesus Christ, believing him without an iota of doubt. One day, after settling dispute brought to him in the presence of the chiefs, unknown to him that charms have been sprinkled on his seat before he came in, so he sat on it innocently. He couldn't stand up from the seat as he was glued to the chair. The chiefs began to mock him. They said, "Where is that your God you claimed is all powerful? Let him come and rescue you." The king started reciting Psalm 24, and at the end he said, "I rise up in the name of Jesus Christ." And lo and behold, he stood up and moved his body, and the charm was nullified. The chiefs were so ashamed and dejected. This led to some of them giving their lives to Jesus Christ. It was also recorded that a horse was to convey the king to a ceremony. Unknown to him, the occult in the city had placed a charm on the horse. They employed drummers who beat the drum with charms to make the horse carrying the king misbehave. Traditionally, the standing order, though unwritten, was that horse must not fall or die while conveying the king, else the king will be rejected and dethroned. The whole city was watching as the horse was misbehaving and crying with water gushing out of his eyes. Fear gripped the whole city, and the occult men were already jubilating that the king's end has come. Prophet David Babajide, the second general evangelist CAC worldwide, and other young evangelists at the scene began to sing, "Agbára rẹ̀ ga jù tọ̀tá lọ, ìmọ̀ rẹ̀ ga jù tèṣù lọ." Ọlọ́run kò ṣe ohun tì ní ọ́. Ohun ayé kan kò lè dí ọ lọ́nà iṣẹ́ rẹ̀. Agbára rẹ̀ ga jù tọ̀tá lọ. Meaning, your power is greater than the enemy. Your knowledge is higher than the devil. You are the God of possibilities. No sorcerer can stop you from working. Your power is greater than the enemy. The crowd chorused the song, and all of a sudden, dew started to fall in the midday, and the horse began to walk majestically, crying like a baby. The horse conveyed Oba Akinyele to the end of the journey and did not fall or die. The Chamans had no choice than to submit to the lordship of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Since that day, they stopped attacking Oba Egbe Akinyele. Raw faith indeed provokes raw miracles. Oba Isaac Babalola Akinyele, the first president of Christ Apostolic Church worldwide, died on the 30th May 1965 at a ripe age of 83 years. Faith of our fathers, a catalyst to the end time revival.